good to see ships sailing from the port again after being strike-bound.
Yes. Mr. O'Needon won't be too happy, though, when he hears our news.
Very high in the water.
Why, she's only carrying a quarter of the cargo we expected.
A quarter? Why?
Ask Senor Braganza. That's all he had for us.
Well, damn Braganza. I thought him the one man that I could rely on. Just when I need that money to buy those shares.
I can make a quick turn round if you've a cargo.
Well, can't say there's exactly competition for our services at the moment.
On account of the strike.
Chance of a cargo for South America in 2 weeks or more. We can't stand idle meantime. Anthracite and potatoes. We go to Swansea, pick up a cargo of anthracite for Jersey, and come back with the first of the new potato crop.
Very good, sir.
Oh, and I'll be sailing with you, Captain Baines. I need to drive a hard bargain if we're to make a profit on this little venture.
Mrs. O'Needon unwell, sir. She was not on the quay to greet us.
Mrs. O'Needon's no longer living in my house.
It was her own decision.
Sorry to hear that, sir.
Now, we must economize, Captain Baines. I suggest you lay off a couple of men.
Well, we'll skeleton crew as it is, sir.
Well, I'll be sailing with you. I'll not stand idle on my own ship.
Very good, sir. About Mrs. O'Needon, sir, she give me this, Lavengro. It's a very strange book. It's about gypsies. But it's improved my reading no end. But I ought to return it, sir.
Don't worry. She'll be back.
So, you've come back, have you?
For some things
Things?
that belong to me.
Nothing in this house belongs to you.
Maybe not legally, but I've worked just as hard as you for our few possessions. I've scraped and saved and gone without. I've kept the accounts, paid out wages, balanced the books.
It's a wife's duty to help her husband.
You should have taken a partner, James, not a wife.
If I remember rightly, our marriage was a partnership. I was desperate for a ship and you for a husband. So, where are you living now?
You told me to leave your house. Where I go from now on is no concern of yours.
Anne, if you'd undertake to be reasonable, I might be prepared to...
Forgive me? For what, James? What was my crime?
Disloyalty, if you must have a name for it. Look, when a man's fighting for his very survival, the least he can expect is that his own wife will be loyal to him. But no, you're out there feeding the strikers, the very people that are holding me up to ransom.
I must go.
And I've told you that's not necessary, provided that you promise that it won't happen again, eh?
You want me to promise that if I hear a child crying with hunger, I'll refuse to feed him because you have a quarrel with his father?
No, I want you to stop believing that God Almighty appointed you the keeper of my conscience. Stop meddling in affairs that you know nothing about.
May I go, please?
You're a woman. You won't survive alone.
You married me because I asked you, and you've never stopped reminding me of that. If I ever enter this house again, it'll be because you've asked me. Otherwise, never. As God is my witness, never.
sitting there for 25 minutes, almost half an hour.
I was working on the engine. Did you take William to the doctor?
Yes.
What did he say?
Apparently convulsions at his age are quite normal. He asked if William had fallen and hit his head.
Of course he hasn't. What's causing them?
Says he'll grow out of it.
It's not serious, then.
He did ask if anyone in the family had been subject to fits. I said not on my side. Then he asked about your family.
You didn't tell the doctor that...
No, I didn't tell him that you were not his father.
Eyes cleared up. Should be a nice, easy little trip. Jersey's very pleasant this time of the year. Mrs. O'Needham used to enjoy this ride.
No references?
I'm afraid not.
Not from any previous employer?
It's the first time I've ever had to seek employment, Ma'am.
I see. Well, that could, of course, seriously affect any kind of salary you could hope to command.
Yes, of course.
What could you teach them?
Reading, writing, arithmetic, needlework.
French?
No, Ma'am.
German?
I'm sorry.
Well, perhaps that is not an insuperable objection, since they are all girls. But naturally, for no experience and no foreign languages, I could not offer you more than £25 a year.
That doesn't seem very much.
It's more than generous for a residential post.
Does that mean that I'd live in with the family?
You would, of course, take your meals in the nursery. You would attend family prayers every morning, give weekly reports to Mr. Taylor concerning the children's progress and behavior. Oh, any instances of disobedience or impertinence you would report to him at once.
Oh, I think I could deal with anything of that kind without troubling their father.
I think not. The eldest girl is turned 14 and given to fits of sullenness. Mr. Taylor is well aware of this and would, I know, back up your authority in the firmest possible manner.
I see.
He doesn't believe that the caning should be administered by the governors, only that she should be present. However, I'm not sure that Mr. Taylor would want to employ a widow. All our previous governesses have been spinsters. When did your husband die, Mrs.
Ma'am, I didn't...
When did he die?
He isn't dead. I parted from him.
You are telling me that you deserted him? Forsook your marriage vows?
We disagreed over certain...
And you
matters.
have the effrontery to come into my house and represent yourself as someone morally fit to be put in charge of innocent young children?
What's going on there?
It's the bosun. He says cook's fighting mad. He reckons Jock's been pinching some stuff from the galley.
Caught him red-handed, did he?
No, he didn't, but he reckons it must be Jock.
Oh. Why?
Last night was half a bottle of whiskey went.
Oh, aye.
Before that, the remains of the stew we had for dinner and some biscuits. But Jock was on the dog watch. The rest of them was in the forecastle. So it looks like there's nobody else it could be.
Come on, my lad. Mr. O'Needon will want a word with you.
Meet the Thompson. And where's your home?
Jersey.
Sir?
Sir, I sailed from Jersey 3 weeks ago as a deckhand.
What ship?
Le Saint-Denis.
The what?
The St. Denis. The food and the living conditions was really very bad.
Stand up.
So you jumped ship, eh? Why?
Well, I found I wasn't really suited to a life at sea after all. I decided to go back to the farm.
Not suited to it, eh? Pity! Well, we'll see how you work aboard a British ship, then.
There's no need of that. I'll pay my passage.
Oh, a passenger, eh? Right, that'll be £3.10. Next time you'll find it cheaper to get a quotation before the ship leaves port.
I haven't got the money on me, sir.
Right, then you'll have to work for your passage.
But my father's a farmer. He's got plenty of
Look,
money.
I'm short-handed and pressed for time. Captain Baines, get him on deck.
But I offered to pay. It's not right I should be forced to work.
On board ship, there's only one man says what's right. Now, Captain Baines here, he's master of this vessel. He's judge, he's jury, he's God.
Here, that's mine.
No, it ain't.
Come on, that's my purse. Now give it back.
Hey, you leave go of me.
What you doing? Purse, now come on. You know,
Take it away. It's your bedroom, please.
All right, John. Come on, up you get. Good God, an old woman like that, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What did she do to you, love?
She was after me money. Been and broke me arm. I shouldn't wonder.
Can't have hurt her. I hardly touched her.
Mrs. O'Needon.
Alan Jessup, what are you doing here?
Collecting washing. Lodging housekeeper, I does his shirts and that. I heard this hullabaloo. What's it all about then?
She's stolen my purse and I've got to get it back.
Oh, you can have it.
She's gone.
You can sleep here for a day or two, till you find somewhere.
I'm afraid I couldn't pay you, not right away. Every penny I had was in that purse.
Never mind about that. I'm not bothered about the money. What about an Eden, then? Did he chuck you out or what?
Your husband went to jail.
For his part in the strike. Another victory for the ship owners.
I'm sorry.
Well, you can order anything you like in the shops. There'll be no questions asked. And Eden's credit's still good. And they know you're his wife.
No, I couldn't do that.
I see. That's different then, isn't it? I'll be straight with you, Mrs. Eden. Stay if you like. I won't charge you for the bed. But the food you brought us last week in the strike, that's nearly all gone. I got me and the baby to think about. You can't expect me to keep you in food.
Oh, I don't. I shall get work, of course.
What work?
I'm good at sewing and embroidery.
Sewing shirts is all you get round here. Canning's paid £2.80 an hour, and he's stingy with the candles. He works his girls 15 hours a day, and he can't keep his hands off them either.
That's not quite what I meant.
You had better ask Needham to take you back. He might make you eat dirt for a bit, but it's better crawling to your old man than to some old cow who'd have you for a governess. You'll never manage on your own.
You have to.
Well, that's different. I've had years of it.
Has your husband been in jail before, then?
Not in jail, but he's often gone months without work. He's a man that opens his mouth too wide. Anybody getting pushed around, he has to shove his oar in. People don't like signing up a man like that.
So how do you live?
I take him washing, go out cleaning. I got a lady I scrub for 3 days a week and do a washing on Mondays. Evenings, I wash bottles in the Crown for an hour. 1 year, I did home sewing in the nights, finishing off collars for Cannings at 8p a gross. Sometimes, when girls were small, it was bed at 12 and up at 4, just trying to fill their bellies.
How old are they now?
Mary's 14. She's at Canning's. Lucy died when she was a baby. You got any?
No.
Don't fret over it. Just think yourself lucky.
Get on with it! What's the matter with you? Get on the yard! Farmer's lad gets his feet off the earth and he's frightened to death.
I've called 3 times and Anne wasn't there.
Can't expect her to stay alone in the house all day when James is away.
I know how she must feel.
What?
I might be a sailor's wife, the little I see of you.
Remember, Elizabeth, Fogarty calls on Friday evening. It is to talk business. It is not a social call.
We should ask him, Albert, if William's convulsions are...
For the last time, Elizabeth, if you think I can ask Daniel Fogarty for information about the child that bears my name, you've even less delicacy of feeling than I thought.
Lipsy, Thompson.
But all I said...
It's time to get back there. Move!
Well, you'll be sorry, do you hear me? If my Wally ever heard about that, he'd half murder him. It's all right, you can come in now. It won't hurt you.
Who is he?
Name's Tanner.
Well, why's he here?
Well, some money's supposed to be owing to him. With a half dozen round here to see Wally since the strike. I can't do nothing for him.
Didn't you tell him?
Can't talk to him. He's 3 sheets to the wind. When he got other ideas in his mind then, dirty old beggar. Give me a hand with him, will you? Now, next time you keep your filthy hands to yourself. You got a wife of your own, God help her. Clear her off home to her, go on. Hey, get her out before you spew up on my floor. I've got enough to do without clearing up after you. Oh, God, look at him.
He's bleeding.
Must have hit it on the fender. Well, I couldn't help it, could I? You saw how he was.
It's not your fault. He's a disgusting man.
It is right enough, see, when he's sober. It's only when he's drunk he's a pig. It's Kathy I'm sorry for, his wife. He beats her up something terrible. The last baby she had was born black and blue all down one side.
Should we get a doctor?
Who's got money for doctors? He's looking white, though. I'll get Kathy to fetch him. Stay here and keep an eye on the baby. It's only the next street.
Where's she gone?
For your wife.
Gonna tell Kathy, eh? What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
Hey, look at that. That's that Jessup bitch that's done that.
No, you keep your hands off that baby.
I'm not gonna touch that damn baby. What the hell are you doing here, any road?
Please, your wife will be here soon. Why don't you sit down and wait?
Why don't you sit down and wait? You know, ever since I was a snotty-nosed kid, there've been women like you around. All starch and Bibles and corsets. And your kind of smell. Why don't you sit down, sonny? You know what I've always wanted to do? Give one arm up against the wall.
If you touch me...
You'll do what? I'm touching you, Hunter. Nasty old sailor, stinking of tar. Touching you. Look. So you'll do what?
I'll call the police.
If you were mine, I'd learn. We don't want your soul poking the noses in round here. No, no, you don't, my girl. No. I think I'll stop your gallop.
What on earth is going on? Is this where you're staying? For the time being? With him? Elizabeth!
Good, you won't mind if I ask him to leave then. Your head appears to be bleeding. If I were you, I'd go somewhere and have it attended to. Or shall I ask the coach driver to step in and see to it?
Oh, on your feet, are you? Go on then, Kathy's out. You'll get home quick and I won't tell her.
She said she was gonna have me took.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, serve you right if she did and all.
You should never have said that, Ellen Jessup. You'll be sorry you ever said that.
Oh, he's enough to make anybody join the Band of Hope.
Well done.
Oh, another one. Place is getting quite crowded. All right, lovey. Mom's here now.
How did you find me?
I was on my way to the dressmaker's and I saw you turn into the lane. I asked at a house a few doors along and they told me you were living here.
Yes. I've left James.
Good for you. But what you going to live on?
I'll find work of some kind.
What was the row about? Oh, of course. James, it would be money.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I've said some hard things to his face, but I can't abuse him behind his back.
I see. Well, if there's anything I can do.
Yes, there is. Don't tell anyone where I am.
Very well. Anything else?
She's got no money.
I'll manage. James thinks that as long as I live under his roof and eat at his table, he can prevent me from acting according to my conscience. Well, I can't live like that, and I won't.
Here's 1.5 sovereigns. It's all I got on me at the moment. Will you take it or not? You can call it a loan if you like.
She'll take it.
Now, look.
It's all right. I shall repay it, Elizabeth. I'll put aside a part of my earnings each week.
Oh, goodbye, then.
Goodbye.
Oh. Look. I'm so sorry I wasn't here to receive you, Miss Callan.
Oh, it's no matter. If you would be kind enough to return these to Mr. Fraser, with my apologies for the delay.
Albert's original design for his steamship?
Yes.
Albert hoped you'd be impressed.
Well, yes, I suppose I am. But my advisor is not, and he knows much more about these matters than I.
You mean Mr. Fogarty?
Yes.
My first one was also a ruby. Oh, my engagement ring from Daniel. Your first one? Albert gave me this diamond. Before you married Mr. Fraser, you were to marry someone else? Why, Miss Callan, I do believe Daniel hasn't told you. You're saying that you and Daniel... That's right. Daniel has never once mentioned it. Oh, it must have slipped his mind. He always was forgetful.
Have you finished?
Nearly. You feeling better?
Oh, yes, thanks.
Not so hot.
It's just a chill, I expect.
Ooh. Isn't it lovely to sit down? My feet are like blocks of ice out in that yard. There's a little bit of tea in that bag if you like to mash it. Mrs. Morley gave it me yesterday. I'll have him here.
He's been crying.
You could have given him a drop of Mother Bailey's quietening syrup.
Helen, no, you shouldn't give him that. It's got opium in it. It's just opium and treacle.
What would I do then when I go to Mrs. Morley's? I got to take him to feed him. If he was yelling in the basement, they'd hear in the parlour. And no lady's going to put up with that.
Maybe that's why the other baby... It's bad for him, really, it is.
It'd be a damn sight worse for him if she turned me off. He'd starve. And Lucy died of scarlet fever, so there.
I'm sorry. This tea's wet.
She wouldn't hardly have given me if it wasn't, would she? That's only been brewed once. There's plenty of heart in it yet. Trouble with you is you don't know what you're saying half the time. I worried all night over what you told Jack Tanner.
What did I say?
About having him took.
Arrested, you mean? Telling he had no right to behave like that. Somebody should tell the police.
Oh, then he'll be locked up, yes. And then Cathy will be left the way I'm left. Only she's got 4 kids instead of 2. What good would it do? I never knew a man went in there yet that didn't come out worse. Even my Wally. I'm dreading to think how he'll be.
I never thought of it like that.
No. You live in a different world, that's why. Oh, well. That's right. You pour. I'll just hang up these last few sheets.
Don't eat it, eh?
Oh! No! No, I'm not going!
Oh, come on.
Who said it? Dirty, rotten liar, whoever they were.
Don't eat it, eh?
Oh! Come on, get off!
Right, if you want to make it difficult.
Listen, I got a baby in there, haven't I?
I know nothing of that.
It's a lie. I'm scared. Ask any of them.
Come on, you lot, clear off.
Oh! Oh! Now you're so done. Seaman, come in the house. Who said it? That's what I want to know. Who said it?
Thank God you're back. He's been like this for hours. He wouldn't take anything from a spoon.
Yes, I know. I need Jim, too.
I've been worried out of my mind.
That's right. My lovely.
I didn't know what was happening.
It was Tanner. He went and gave my name to the police.
What for?
Said there'd been sailors coming to the house. Well, of course there had, but asking after Wally, that's all. You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Well, if anybody goes and tells them that he thinks you've given him a disease, you know, and that you might give it to others, they just come and whip you off, have a look, find out if it's right. There's an act.
The contagious diseases act?
Oh, that's the one.
But Helen, I thought that was only for... I didn't know they had the right.
It's also haven't got no rights. If you've got it, they keep you in the lock hospital, they call it. It's worse than a jail. You can be there for months, you can't get out. Or if they don't find it, they give you a card. A card you can show to the sailors to say that you're clean. They give me a card, Mrs. O'Neill. I ripped it up and showed it in their faces. Oh, God, that swine of a man. He knows damn well I'd never been on the streets. It was only spite.
What happened to your leg?
Oh, that's because I wouldn't let them do it. If you fight them, they put you in clamps. My fault. I should have known better.
I didn't know such things could happen in England.
Your England's a different place than mine. I think you better go back to it. You're only causing trouble here.
I'm sorry.
You're never going to manage without your man anyway.
If you can, then I can.
No. For me, it's life and death. You're just playing games. Oh, just look at them sheets he knocked in the mud. I'll have to tow them again. I'll be a day late. Mrs. Morley said if that happened again, I'd have to finish. Oh, I'd have to go round tomorrow and bow and scrape and lick her boots. And what if she still won't keep me? It'll be getting up at 4 instead of 6 and scrubbing area steps at 2 an hour. Are you going to do that when your woman is gone? Are you going into a sweatshop and work yourself blind 16 hours a day? Are you going out in the frozen fields digging up turnips? No, you're kind of different breed. You'd rather make a hole in the river than live our life.
No, I won't do those things. It would be a waste when I can do something better. I'd have found something by now if only I'd felt well enough.
I haven't felt well for the last 10 years, but I can't stop, can I? When we stop, we starve.
Please, Ellen, it's not my fault the world's so unfair. Don't hate me for it. If I could change it, I would. Just let me stay till Saturday. I can pay my share till then.
And after Saturday, you'll go home.
After Saturday? I just don't know.
Well, congratulations on your engagement to Miss Callan.
Mr. Fraser, I would be glad if you would not discuss business matters with Miss Callan behind my back.
Ah, and so she told you I'd shown him the original designs for the Golden Nugget.
She did. And I explained to her the utter folly of building such a vessel without sails.
I trust she was sensible enough to realize the folly of such advice.
You are a burden to me, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, Mr. Fogarty.
Good evening, Mrs. Fraser.
Elizabeth, I told you I did not wish to be disturbed.
I thought Mr. Fogarty had left.
Mr. Fogarty, you've come here to look at my plans for the Golden Nugget.
I have seen them, Mr. Fraser.
But not the improvements. There's some relevant papers in the pocket of my greatcoat, Elizabeth.
Oh, yes, Albert.
I got your note about the doctor's request.
Yes.
Now, I asked an old aunt of mine. She said there was no history of convulsions in any member of our family as far as she knows.
Oh, thank God.
Is William any better?
Oh, he's fine now, but I couldn't rest till I was sure. Emma Callan told me of your engagement. She showed me her ring.
Well, I thought it a pity to waste such a fine ring. You didn't tell her...
No, Daniel. But I did tell her that we were once engaged. She seemed quite surprised.
I had no reason to tell her.
And good reason for not telling her, perhaps?
I don't understand what you mean.
If she was somehow to discover that you were William's father.
I see. Oh, that would suit your purpose admirably.
My purpose?
Fraser's, then. Or your brother James. Oh, yes, they would dearly love to cause a rift between Emma Callan and I.
And you have a lot to lose, don't you, Daniel? Marry Emma and you'll be the Callan line, all 25 ships of it.
Well, now, here they are.
I've no wish to see the improvements to your original design, Mr. Fraser. Only the design as approved by the shareholders, with masts and sails. And until you've prepared that, there's little point in our wasting each other's time. Good night to you.
You cracked her rib, most likely. Oh, could have been worse if the boat cover hadn't have broken your fall.
How much longer?
Oh, we'll make port in a few hours. Your mother will be glad to see you, eh? What is it, lad?
She died last April. He's got another he wants to marry.
That's why you ran away to sea.
She used to tell me about Lord Nelson. She could talk about anything. She read hundreds of books. She thought Lord Nelson was a wonderful man. A sailor and a gentleman. And I thought it would be a noble thing.
They don't put everything in books, lad.
Did you get anything?
No. What did Mrs. Morley say?
Tell her. She kept me on.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I had to cry to get her to do it. Even then she docked me threepence for the inconvenience.
She sounds a very ill-tempered woman.
Her old man started chasing after girls. She's got to take it out on somebody. She got a man the sack from Chumley's this week. He'd been there 5 years doing the cash. Now he's got to go. Just because he got her change wrong. And she said he was insolent.
What will they get instead?
How should I know? Chumley'd never take a woman. It's figuring.
Good speed, Captain Baines.
I said we'd make St. Helier by noon, and I wasn't far out.
Well, you get that coal off as fast as you can, and with any luck, we'll have a cargo of potatoes waiting for us by the time you've unloaded.
Look at him. Can't wait to get back to the plough. He'll never leave the farm again, I warrant. Mr. Needham?
Yes?
Oh, I understand you're looking for a cargo of potatoes.
That's right.
Well, perhaps you'd like to follow me up here.
Where is it, then?
The name's Thompson.
Thompson.
This here's my son, Martin. You got any children, Mr. Needham?
No.
I've got 2 sons. The youngest of them were a little fool. He ran off to sea.
Young Peter's father, eh?
Yes. But Martin here does exactly as I say. Hardly seems fair, does it, Martin? It wasn't fair on our little Peter. 2 on to 1, eh? Mind if I stay and even it up?
Much obliged, Captain Baines.
My pleasure, sir. You wait a needing. Our turn will come.
Come now. You don't expect me to take you seriously. It's no job for a young lady.
Not all that young, Mr. Chumley. And most of your customers are ladies.
Yes, but bless your heart. Women weren't meant to bother the pretty little heads about ledgers and arithmetic and credit balances. Whatever would people say?
That where Chumley's Emporium leads, others follow.
No. If it were the haberdashery counter, I wouldn't hesitate. But this post calls for a... Now, yesterday, for instance, you see, his totals don't tally. This is how he walked off and left them.
May I see?
It's only a matter of 2 shillings. But we must have accuracy. Speed and accuracy. It's no use. I've checked it myself. He must have made a wrong entry.
Oh, it's here, Mr. Chumley. Well, I have a confession to make. Sometimes our very weaknesses come to our aid. You see, he writes his 7s like 9s. I tend to do the same myself. I believe a lot of ladies do.
Hey, you'd need to be very careful about that.
Oh, I'd take the utmost pains to correct it, Mr. Chumley.
Hey, I take it you have references.
Would you mind very much if I first mentioned wages?
Oh, I couldn't give you what I was giving Mr. Bannerman.
Of course not. I'd do the job for half the money. Well, Mr. Chumley?
Any sign of the cargo, sir?
Tuesday they blamed the weather, said it wasn't right for lifting potatoes. Wednesday, shortage of labour. Yesterday, trouble with haulage. Today, there isn't going to be any cargo, Captain Baines.
No cargo? What sort of firm is it we're dealing with?
Very influential. Biggest on the island. Name of, Thompson and Son.
What do we do now, then?
Only one thing we can do.
Sail without cargo?
No time to waste if we're going to pick up that cargo for South America.
Yes.
Well, don't just stand there, Captain Baines. Ship will not sail with the crew playing pitch and toss.
Aye, sir. Bosun! Fetch the mate from below. We sail for Liverpool in the hour.
I'll be back.
That one to Mr. Repton. That one to Mr. Stevens in bedding. No, not that one. That's mine. Well, James, I've still got my head above water.